So, normally I would not post on this channel in particular because thing is, this is not original. This channel particularly is for original content, comics, series, voice acting, stories. If my friend ever gets to uploading her little stories. So you could be asking yourself then, what's this video about? If you haven't read the title, I guess. If you just clicked and like, I don't need to see the title, I just want to click. Well, this is about me recasting. For 4 long years, the Nerdy Medic, when they first saw my bunnies, they were like, I want to dub this. I want to dub them. And remember, this is 4 years ago when they were first starting. I was like, okay, go ahead. They're just, see where it goes. I didn't think anybody would really dub them at the time because, if you can see here, pop it in me. There you go. 4 long years ago, that's what they look like. They were not really modified very well. They were just the beginning stages of what you see now, with color and eyes and, well, not little dots for eyes, but actual eyes. You see more. There's more flair to them now. There's a huge backstory that, could draw people in. That's why I wanted to make a game of them. When they dubbed them, I was able to get a personality out of these bunnies, because at first it was like, oh, I'm just gonna make silly little comics of the bunnies. It won't go anywhere. It'll be a short thing that I do, and then push it back off to the side for franchises. And that was the idea at the time. They weren't for anything. They really weren't an idea that big. But people seemed to be getting into them, and they left them up the ground. Really, it helped me develop the personalities of these bunnies, so they have no idea how much they helped progress the stories as well as the character development behind the scenes. Because now I can hear a voice in my head of how they react and sounded. It helped me make a characterization in my head of what they sounded like and how would they act while sounding like this, so it actually helps envisions in a creator's mind of what they would sound like if this certain scenario happened, and let's push that into something more. So it helped me make character development and attributes for the bunny boys. And thing is, like I said, I didn't know they would get a voice actor that quickly. I didn't know they if pushed like that in direction just for pushing out a little comic or two, that it would draw a voice actor in. Little did I know. And thing is, when that happened, I was excited too. But I'm sad to say this, because they've been around for 4 long years. I have to fire and dismiss the Nerdy Medic. It's hard to take me seriously with this. Hold on. With this alone, it's hard to take me seriously. I'm not even playing anything. I have to fire and dismiss them from their role. They decided to go another route in life. They decided they had another career in mind on Twitch. That it took me 6 long months for them to dub anything from them. 1 comic page. And yes, I get it. They had family issues. Family members, unfortunately, deceased in their family. It was just really stressful on them. And other matters that I will not discuss here because it is not in my rights to say. But we'll say they claimed all that happened, and then weeks later I'd find them streaming on Twitch and such, and it's like, you told me this tragedy happened. You told me all this happened. And yeah, you deserve the timeout. You deserve your break. I am all for mental health comes first, but how come maybe like 2-3 weeks later you're streaming on Twitch like it was no big deal anymore? Because even I would take more time out from creating content in all platforms if somebody died in my family. And finally, after all that, now you do see a comic being posted. You would have seen it Monday. When I post this, he will be fully dismissed. He's dubbed the one last comic you saw, Sensitive, which I also helped voice in. I voiced Millie. And, it took me 6 long months just to get them to dub it. That one comic, if I can even remember. 2 full names and a blank. That was 1 comic page. It wasn't 2, and then I had another one, Too Much Hair in the Hair, which was exactly 1 comic page. It took so long to push that, and at the time I'm like, okay, never mind, it's been too long. Let's move on to other matters. I was trying to be nice about it. As nice as a boss can be. But then it got ridiculous. It's like I said, they would rather stream on Twitch, or just they would rather stream on Twitch than help progress. They said they loved my bunnies, but you're not showing the effort. They then said, well, after 4 long years, it felt like a job. Of course it's gonna feel like a job, nerdy, if you're listening. Of course it is. It was supposed to be a job. I paid you. I paid you to make those. I paid you to dub because it was supposed to be like a little side job. No one was not going to be not paid for doing their job. You were a service for me. You were helping me. You were in my employer. I employed you into this, hired you into this as a project. At first I didn't think it would go anywhere. That's why a long time ago I couldn't pay you, because I also wasn't on SSI. I had nothing. I couldn't pay with anything much. Once I got my SSI, I started using it as a way to pay you and pay others that helped me along the way, because that's the right thing to do when you hire someone, is to pay them for their efforts and work. So yes, of course it'd feel like a job, hun. Of course it would feel like a job. It was a job. It was a short, it was like a hobby job, you could say. The effort had to be there, the passion had to be there, but I could see some of the passion dwell in the way within the 6 months because of so much stress in your life, so much stress going on, and I got that. That's why I gave all the time in the world for you, but that gets in the way of what I have to do to help progress my bunnies, to help progress my series, as selfish as it may sound, because I am for mental health. I am for, take it, relax, but in a real business, if you were a voice actor at Toonami, Cartoon Network, if you took 6 months out and they needed you and you said no, you would have been fired. Anybody could have been fired. They don't like to hear the answer no. They don't like to hear, oh, I need time out for mental health. Companies like that don't care about your mental health. I cared. That's why I let you go out for so long. That's why I was like, okay, I'll wait. And 6 months later, I'm still trying to push you into it, and it seemed like the passion was gone. And you just saying it felt like a job, that just meant to me, yeah, it felt too much of a job for you to care anymore. You care about the bunnies, but you didn't care about the passion as much anymore. Which is sad. A little bit. You still want to be around, and I understand that. You're still going to be the beta tester for the game. So yes, there's still gonna be the beta tester for the game, but as original voice actor. As much as it hurts, because I was hoping I'd see them go with me and progress all the way through and see the series all the way through to the very end. In my gut, something told me from the very start, not gonna lie, that I would have to replace them eventually down the road. That something was gonna happen to where I had to replace them. Because in the long scheme of things, yeah, voice actors don't stay. As much as you want them to stay, they're not going to. And I'm not going to get in the way of their career or what they want to do in life. I'm not going to make them feel stuck or trapped in something they don't want to do anymore. And I wouldn't do that to anybody. So, by this video, he is officially fired. So by this video, when you see it, they are officially fired. They are dismissed from their roles as the original. They still have bragging rights to say they were the original. They still have the rights to say, oh yeah, I was the first. And they still want to see the series through the end, which I'm happy that you want to still see the progression. But sadly, you just won't be always a part of that progression anymore. You'll be on the sidelines. You'll be seeing it from a distance. You'll be seeing it from your own stance in life. And that's just how it is. So, as of now, you could be thinking, well, is that it? Where's the voice actors then? Well, no worries. I went to Casting Call Club. Show link on description and or Well, yeah, I'll put the link in the description and also on screen. Not sponsored, by the way. I will take a sponsorship. Probably not. They won't sponsor me. But I'm available. But I have 2 new voice actors that will take the roles of the main 3. Hunter. I swear this camera's... But yeah, Hunter, who I'll show on screen. He is now the official voice actor for Andy. He was fantastic, smooth, buttery voice, very nice, and he actually can do many languages and dialects. I was surprised he took the job. I was surprised he wanted to be hired, but he says he likes to see where this goes, so it's nice, and he says he'll do it as long as he really desires to, which is fine. I mean, luckily Andy has a monotone voice, so anybody can really copy him. I never gave my bunnies too much of a perky voice that's like, oh, it's hard to copy, like a SpongeBob, where it's like, good luck trying to find someone to replace you if you go. That's why Tom Kenny's probably trapped until he dies, so that always begs the question, what would happen when he died, so. And then, another one, I can't even say his name because it's a weird username. Shilochem333, what, there 33? You know what, the name's on the screen, with the little circle, yeah. He is now officially the 2 main leads. Yes, Andy is a main lead, but if anybody was a main lead, it would be Willie and Stanley. He does both of them wonderfully. He has a lot of energy when he goes into Stanley, and a good little, sassy snoo when he comes into Willie. And now they will be 100% taking over where the nerdy medic left off. They will dub things that I need them to. I'm paying the voice actor for Stanley and Willie $7 in total, and the other one $5 because he's voicing 2. The other one is only voicing 1, so I figured that's as high as I can go right now. Money's tight. So when my next mini comic or comic is done, because right now I just finished Sensitive, as you see, I plan on doing mini comics for a while because I have a bunch of them with Millie on the mix, so you'll hear more of me. And trying to collect my thoughts, pardon me. So they will take his stead instead. They will be the 2 main leads, and as I make this, because this is pre-recorded, this is recorded when Sensitive just finished. I'm waiting on Nerdy to voice over. That was their last video that they were gonna dub for me. I still owe them like $10 for the last one. Sorry, money's been tight this month. Money's been awful this month. But yeah, they're gonna dub that. They haven't done it yet, and when I do this, but when you see this, they would have already done it, and maybe they'll have a goodbye video to say, or what's going to happen with them, or what happened, and what they want to say. Because it really isn't in my right to say it now, when I make this, because I don't have their okay, I don't have anything, and I'm not a person to say, oh, this is why, really. Because it's just inappropriate for the moment. So I'm not gonna say really why. Maybe in a future video, maybe, but really it doesn't really matter because I doubt for that reason alone they really weren't interested anymore. It was more for Twitch than anything else, and I just don't have that kind of patience anymore to wait 6 months while trying to keep up with everything and a video game on the side to make. I still need to push out content for you guys to see, for you guys to enjoy, because my other friend City, who is a part of this little channel, she hasn't pushed out anything of when I make this, and I'm guessing even further still because she's more into farming. She likes to write stories and stuff. She has a lot of her own things on plate. When she uploads, she uploads. That's her deal. I told her she can upload on my channel. She's into horror and stuff like that, but that's for a different video entirely. That's to introduce her later, or if she wants to introduce herself. This is for, yeah, to say 100% goodbye to the main role that the Nerdy Medic had. That I appreciate all that you've done for me, You really didn't have to at the time. I mean, they were first starting out, and I really didn't have a plot or story for these guys. I just got really into it because they got really into it, and they started dubbing, and then people got into it a bit, and I'm like, okay, this has to be going somewhere. Let me go somewhere with it, and then I have such a huge, like I said, backstory that even they don't know about. I didn't tell them the whole story. Actually, only one friend knows the real, true story behind everything, because they really don't. They're not expressive. They're like an Andy. They're not going to be highly expressive or anything about it. They don't really care for spoilers. They don't care about all that. To them, they don't get excited about anything really, and to that extent. Trying to get them to laugh is hard enough, so I figured, okay, a friend that doesn't really care in the hindsight anyway, why not tell them? Because they really do like anime. I wanted someone's opinion other than my mother's. And he told me what he thought, and he thought it was good. He liked how it was coming out to be, so I kept going at it. Kept making deeper lore for the story, even. The bunnies were really never meant for kids. They were meant for teens and adults to relate to. But at the very first time, they were just cute little cartoons I never thought would be picked up out of the ground and dubbed. So I thank you for that one. I thank you for the hard work you put in. I'm sorry I made it seem like a job. I'm sorry I made it seem almost forcible at times, because, yeah, I would ask a lot, or at times saying, hey, didn't you, because my mind is fuzzy. I can't remember anything half the time, because if you saw my to-do list, just blow it up on screen of how much I have to do, and at the time it was even more because of franchises on the side, just to keep the other main channel that is now dead alive. I had a lot on my plate. So trying to remember when they said they were gonna dub or not dub, it was like, did you say today or was it next weekend? I don't know. I don't always remember. I have a terrible memory because of how much I have to remember. But it is sad to see you go. It is sad to let you go. It actually did make me a little emotional because I was really hoping to see it through to the end. I was really hoping to see you through to the end, that we can come out triumphant together as friends and push it to the ending together because you were the one to start it. And I always figured, hey, you started it, you can end it, but that's not always the case, because some people do feel trapped and they don't want to feel trapped, and they don't want to feel like they're in a job anymore. That doesn't do it for them anymore. And I understand that full-heartedly, because that's why I quit making franchises. It just wasn't fun anymore. Now it became like a job, but it was more like a chore, because it just became unfun. Because people demanded the stupidest things, and it was just intolerable. Now, I wouldn't say the job was intolerable, but I think you got bored of it. I think you just wanted to get on with your life doing other things, which is highly understandable. And I don't want to keep anybody in a job that they don't want to feel comfortable with. That's not who I am. If you're unhappy, you tell me you're unhappy. If you're unhappy with the position you're in, you tell me that. If you have any questions, you ask me. I'm not going to sit and be mean to anybody. I'm not that kind of person who's going to be mean and go, no, you work for me and only me. That's why I don't put anybody under contracts. That's why I don't put anybody under anything saying, no, you're only mine. I tell the new dubbers, even now, you're still free to do whatever you want. You're free to dub for anybody else or be a part of something else. If you have family issues or problems or more jobs on the side, or you're trying to get your life a little back in order, take some time out. Your mental health comes first, because it always did. Now, as I said, as this time, I don't have a Casey. I'm hoping I get a Casey. I still have to make that project for hiring on Casting Call Club. Because I think he'll be a little more difficult because he's a singer. Now, I don't need a professional singer. I just need someone who can. Because the next comic, the big one, is, spoilers, I guess, gonna have him sing a song in it. And I'm gonna do a little bit of animation. But the mini comics is so that I can work in Clip Studio and learn how Clip Studio works. And maybe I'll see even better versions of the bunnies in there. Because normally, weirdly enough, the better the program, the better I do with everything. And normally they say, no, if you're just good at something, you'll progress over time. But it's always seemed like the more I had better equipment or projects, or programs rather, not projects, but programs, the better I would do. It's so weird. It's like it didn't even matter. It's like, oh, people can make this most stunning picture on Paint Studio, which is the free program, but no, I can't do none of that. I can only do it the better. I know, I'm a weird person. So I'm hoping if that's the case, because that's how I work, that I can go to Clip Studio and make even better looking comics even now. But yeah, the comics I make now are pretty good in comparison to my old ones, that I learned a lot of how to make them. But maybe Clip Studio will help me learn more about how to make them look nicer and cleaner, and that even animations can finally be done smoother, because now there's an animation studio in there that when you hook up the dubbing to it, because let's put it this way, and Metabang was not meant for animations. I made animations in that, and then I made my Adobe. I brought up the file of dubbing or music in Adobe, and then went back and forth between Metabang and Paint Pro trying to match up and sync the voices. And I was usually really close. I surprised myself. I was really close on the syncing and such, and I was only like maybe a few or 2 frames off at times. But not to kill myself, so I would repeat some frames, or I would stretch a frame out, even if it looked a little clunky. But that's why, because Metabang was never meant for that kind of thing. It was meant for mostly, maybe probably little GIFs, or GIFs if people want to call them, or just pictures and comics. Clip Studio is all roundabout. It could be 3D models, it could be comics, pictures, and animation where you put the dubbing below it, so that way you can draw out the characters' movement first, go back, and then sync up their voices and such, and expression-wise. That's how you're supposed to do it. You're not really supposed to go in and try to sync on 2 different programs. You're supposed to go on one program together and sync up along with it, but first you do the movement with the voice, and then put the voice, or mouth rather, with the voice. That's how you're supposed to do it. I did it wrong for so many years because I just didn't have it, but now I have it. Now, I don't know how it fully works because I'm still new, but I'm guessing they're going by layers because everything is a layer. And I have no problem with that. I'm good with just layering, as people would see in my many speed paintings to come. But yeah, I think Casey's gonna be the hardest. Only because, like I said, he's a singer, and of course I'll pay more for the singing. I'll pay a little extra for it because you deserve it. You deserve all the pay you can get out of me. But the problem is with SSI, I only get paid $800 a month, and it's hard at times. I wish I got paid a little bit more than that, but just not gonna happen. Unless my YouTube channel booms, then yeah, that'd be great. If I finally got 1,000 subscribers and I got paid for what I was doing, yeah, that'd be great. But not right now. It's not time yet, I guess. But I'm getting attraction little by little. I got more than I thought I would this year. Well, last year rather, because I started more of it last year. But I will pay, probably like $10-20 for the song. Even though I know that doesn't sound a lot. I'll even stretch it to a 30, but if you add up the just voice acting alone per page, because it's still a comic, but just an animation in the middle of it, so you add up the pay with that, it gets pricey after that. So I have to also choose a month where I say, okay, all you dubbers can come together, and just come together and I can pay you all. I actually now have to think of making my own server in Discord for the SoTub VAs, to come together. And, you know, if I need a project done, I say I could call out to the dubbers all at once, and they'll come flooding in, or hopefully come flooding in, or they'll be notified of what I'm doing. And if somebody needs a question answered, saying, oh, what I missed, because different time zones, hopefully I could come in, or somebody else could come in and say, hey, she's doing this, and you're required. And they can, oh, okay. Because, yeah, I could talk to them individually, but it's also good to have a server so that way the voice actors can all come together and talk to each other and get to know each other, because I want my place to be like a team, like a family. Like if you want a question or needed help with something or anything, or just to get to know each other because you're on the same team, you might as well get to know your teammates. You might as well get to know everybody who's on your team. So I'll probably make one after I get the Casey dubber going, if I find one. Actually, I will say this amazingly, I didn't think I'd find it so fast. I found my 3 main character voices within the same week or so. Same week. I will say, people, I guess, if they have a job on the side, like a day job or just something that keeps money on the, or well, pays them money and puts food on the table, and they also want a side thing to do to keep themselves occupied, people will come. People will be like, yeah, help you out. I'm getting paid for it anyway. More money on my side. I just don't get the money. I give the money. I don't take money. But yeah, it's a sad day for me. I knew this day was gonna come. I just didn't know when. It was always that when factor. It's like, when are you gonna be that deciding factor of quitting or resigning or not wanting to do this anymore? When am I gonna see it in yourself and actions that you're not gonna be into this anymore? And I guess 2021 was the hitter, because 2020 was so crazy for everybody. And it's just sad to see a friend go, because I usually make this a friend project. Yes, it was a personal project always, but it had my friends involved. Some of my friends are going to be the voice actors of some of the characters, so they might be a cameo. I plan on putting them a cameo in the game as a thank you as well, because they also, like I said, they're still being the beta tester, and they'll be paid more if the game does well along with everybody else. It's just a shame. I wanted them to be along with the ride as long as they could, and I guess 4 years was the stopping point. Via good or bad. But I was taught everything happens for a reason, so maybe there's like a good silver lining in this, that with more voice actors involved, the word can be spread out, and their word can be spread out, so that way everybody kind of wins. So my stuff gets pushed out, they get known by other people, and it kind of makes a full circle. So instead of just one dubber, now there's gonna be like 3. 3 plus me and my 2 friends. So I have a little team now going on, so from here on out, I say hello to Hunter and that guy's name. I cannot pronounce it because I didn't ask for his name during this time. I should have, but I guess I never really thought of it. But yeah, that person. He's a nice man. He's 35. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Is that doxing? I'm 27, it's okay. But yeah, he doesn't sound his age, but that's why he gets a lot of kid roles. But yes, they're wonderful people, very understanding, very kind-hearted. They like to... The 35-year-old actually said he really likes passion projects, that he has some of his own, that he wants to see where this goes as well, that seeing how much effort and passion I'm putting into it, and how much love and care that's going into it, and a lot of, on my end, a lot of stress and tears. But I hope they enjoy their stay here, and do know that you're free to always walk away, but unlike what Nerdy did, please give me a 2 weeks notice so I can recast faster. That's the only thing that probably really upset me, is I didn't get a 2-week notice. I was just on the spot, okay, I have to end this. And that's really stressful for a person. And if you don't give a boss in real life a 2-week notice, you're gonna get a bad rep because you need that recommendation from the boss, because they're gonna see the boss's input of how you were as a worker, and then you're gonna have that on your resume. It's like, oh, they I don't know, well, they never put their 2 weeks notice in, they were, out doing this, that, and that. That's not a good look. That's not a good look for a company. So always put your 2 weeks notice in, even for a friend, or anything, you have to give them the notice sooner, so that way, that 2 week span, that's the last time you're doing it. Luckily, I could settle this very fast, like I said. If you need a voice actor or just a cosplayer, editor, or something, go to Casting Call. Well, Casting Call Club. Again, link in the description. And I can just pop it up on screen again. So, I guess to end this, thank you nerds for picking up the bunnies when I really didn't think they were going to go anywhere. Actually, after a few comics, I was just gonna push them off to the side and never be looked at again. I had no plans. And because they picked them up, that helped them to grow. They planted the seeds for a flower to sprout. And I do hope that even if you're not fully a part of the team anymore, you're still, in a sense, a part of the team. You're still a part of the family. You're not going to be fully pushed aside as if you never existed. You still have your bragging rights of being the first. You helped planted the seeds, and now it's others' turn to plant the soil and help them grow with food and such, and that metaphor. And it's sad to see you go, because I really did want to see us triumphantly come out with this together as friends. Sometimes it's not really always meant to be, is it? That we have both different career ideas and choices in our lives that we make differently. And that's okay. Don't feel bad. It's an end of an era, I guess you could say. Because nothing lasts forever. I'm just surprised it happened so fast, but I guess 2020 kind of killed everybody's mentality, making them rethink decisions and choices in their lives. Gotta love 2020. But like I said, maybe this is a positive thing. And it probably is, seeing how fast I got to recast. But it's just sad to see a friend go from the main team, the main voices, the main everything, and not being able to be the voice even in the game, because even Shiloka said the 3-3 said, he gets to play himself in the game because he plans on staying until the game is made. He wants to play as himself. And that's what I'm saying. I was like, yeah, I'm surprised you wanted to quit before the game was even done, because you got to play as yourself. Yes, you get to see yourself in-game as a cartoon character, but I'm just surprised you didn't want to last that long, but I didn't have that long for you to wait on either. Thing with these two is I don't have to wait. They just said, ask, and they will do it. Like, hey, whenever I'm up, I'll do it the same week that you asked me to. And that's all I ever really ask. As long as it's getting done the same week I ask, that's all I ask. I don't care if it's done the same day or not. I don't care if it's done just like that. I just care if it was done the same week as what I asked. That's all. And to some people, that's not a hard ask at all, considering, yeah, I have a YouTube channel. I cannot prolong that, but now I'm just, I don't want the video to end, I guess. But yeah, I'm insane to keep this going. But yes, thank you, nerds, and I hope other people will thank you for your time and service and appreciation towards the bunnies and picking them up so other people can love them as well. Planting the seeds, helping them grow, and becoming the bunny boys that we know today. So, I hope you really do find what you're looking for. I really hope that your expectations aren't, drawn out by negative reinforcements, that life doesn't, push you in the wrong direction, because that happens to some people. I hope the career choices you make are the right ones, and that you just be careful in life and in general, because what seems always like a good idea isn't always the best idea. You really have to rethink of some situations. I should know. I've done it throughout how many times in my life already. Had to give up 2 franchises that I made in the past just to continue forward, having to do things I didn't like or had to tolerate for the longest time just to get ahead somewhere. So always have that plan B backup. Always don't just jump. Not saying don't jump for your dreams or passion, but always keep that level of logic in your mind. Like I have to all the time when creating, because even I know my bunnies can flop like the rest of my old series did. My bunnies could be nothing that only maybe 1,000 people might like at the end of the day. That they could be failures. They could be. And I have to keep that level of logic in my mind so I don't become too positive and over reassuring, and then when it flops on me, it's like a double whammy of disappointment and sadness and thinking I failed when really it just wasn't a meant to be thing. So I hope at the end of the day you're thinking logically, you really do sit down and think things through, that I hope your Twitch turns out the way you want it to be, that you know what you're really doing, because at 18, life is crazy, life is confusing, life will push you in every direction, and people will tell you one thing and the other, and because, circumstances, you think you're doing the right thing, only for it to be like, not doing it right. I know I've been there too many times. I just wish you the best is all. As a good friend that I am, I just wish you the best. And you'll always be a part of the Sawtub team and the family. You were the first. And I just hope to see you succeed in life, and like you wish to see me succeed in life. That's all a friend can ask. So thank you for watching this video. Goodbye as the main dubber for, the bunny boys. Thank you for your time. I hope life goes the direction you hope it does. I hope life is nice to you. I'll see you later. Goodbye.